I actually don't know what's happening with Action Air. All I know based on my opinion is that it has gone downhill a bit. Since the World Shoot, which was in 2018 in Hong Kong, and COVID and the pandemic, it's been really difficult to get things going with a sport such as Action Air. In case you don't know, Action Air is Airsoft IPSC. It is the emulation of handgun using airsoft replicas, which is great because in a country like the UK where handguns are very difficult to get a hold of because they are essentially, to a certain extent, banned, it is easier to go get a replica imitation firearm, an airsoft toy, and use that for training. And then when you go overseas, you can use those skills to shoot handgun, which is great. It means that we're not isolated to a certain extent where we're completely disadvantaged when we go to our neighboring countries like France and shoot with those people and realize, oh, really crap, because we have no way of practicing. We actually do. There's also the use of long barrel pistols, but there are caveats to that. They're not perfect. So, Action Air, well, it's 2022. At this very moment in time, there are no competitions available in the UK to shoot. Local matches are pretty much non-existent. And honestly, I don't know what's going to happen with it. I really hope that it picks up. The problem is that although we do have Action Air clubs everywhere, they're very dormant. We don't know what's going on. Even the club I'm in, which is predominantly one of the most active clubs in the UK, is in a bit of a low at the moment. We've had to cancel a few nights. And it's not because there is not enough interest. I think it's a mix of, because COVID has kind of gone-ish, everything else that we've missed has taken precedence. We have people in the club who have other sports they do, such as off-roading. I, for example, have started shooting mini rifle, but I'm still actively wanting to shoot Action Air as well. I want to shoot handgun. I will eventually get onto shotgun. There are people who shoot multiple disciplines and can do it pretty well. That I don't think is an issue. I think the issue is where people are concentrating on other things and decided that Action Air is just not exciting enough, which is silly. I think that it's something that needs to change to a certain extent, especially in regards to Action Air as a gateway to shooting the other disciplines, which it is, because you don't have to own a firearm, you don't have to go through the process of being legally able to shoot a match, because Action Air is using toys. It allows you to do this kind of sport anywhere as well. You can do it in a church hall, you can do it in your garage, you can do it in your back garden to a certain extent, as long as you're not being a danger to the public or causing an uproar of any sort. It is something that's so accessible, it seems weird that it becomes one of the least interesting or least popular disciplines at the moment, in the UK at the very least. Obviously, if you're in a country that you're allowed to shoot handgun, there is an understanding of why Action Air is not so prominent, but in a country like ours where handgun is very difficult to do, almost impossible, it makes sense that Action Air exists. And I feel that there are different ways of having a solution for it. I think one of the biggest solutions for that is to have actual shooting clubs that shoot shotgun, rifle, and so forth, to have an Action Air section. Much like a lot of rifle clubs in the UK have air sections for air rifles, we need an Action Air section. I think that helps. I think that will gain more popularity for the shooting community in general, especially in regards to kind of pulling airsofters in. There is a bit of a talk of whether airsofters are better than just run-of-the-mill, I'm going to say civilian, but someone who doesn't shoot coming into the community. That'll be a question for another time. But yeah, I feel like Action Air needs a bit of a boost, and the only way we can do that is to get the other disciplines to help to understand how important Action Air is. Because let's say you're someone who has no understanding of firearms, has not even looked at getting an application or a certificate, is restricted in many ways of being able to shoot. What can Action Air provide? Well, they walk in the door, they can immediately shoot Action Air and get an understanding of what practical shooting is like, and gives them the ability to experience the speed, the thinking, the mindset, everything to do with any of the other disciplines can be found in Action Air. In fact, I can say that 5 years of shooting Action Air has allowed me to jump into mini rifle and get into the top 10 within 2 or 3 regional matches. It's that important for us because it's so accessible and because it gives us all the skills we need to shoot the other disciplines. It's as simple as that. It's so weird that it's not something that is taken with importance, because maybe in a way it's not exciting anymore. You're shooting with a toy as compared to shooting with a .22 rifle. You don't get the same experience. But that shouldn't be something that stops us, because you have to go to a shooting range to shoot mini rifle. You have to go somewhere that is accessible and allows you to do that under law and legislation. With Action Air, you don't. You can go to an airsoft site. There are so many more airsoft sites than shooting ranges in the UK. It just doesn't make sense. But I guess it requires us as a community to do something about it. And I'm gonna try my best to do that in any way I can, even through this video. Anyway, that's enough for that question, and I'll see you in the next video.